Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will discuss the mandible bone. This is the mandible bone, as you can see. The word mandible is derived from a Latin word mandibula, which means jawbone. So this bone, this forms the skeleton of the lower jaw. This is actually formed by the fusion of its two halves in the center. So this is one half of the mandible bone and this is the other half of the mandible bone. Now these two halves, they actually come and they fuse in the center, in the midline, and the region where they fuse in the midline, this region in the center, this is called the symphysis mentae. Now it is not a cartilaginous joint, it is just a misnomer. In the newborns, this particular portion of symphysis mentae is having a fibrous tissue which is later on replaced by the bone. So if you see each half of the mandible, this region, this is the body of the mandible, this is the body of the mandible, this is the ramus of the mandible, and these are the two processes of the mandible. Posteriorly you have a condylar process or the head of the mandible, and anteriorly you have a coronoid process. Talking about the body of the mandible, this area, it has got two surfaces. This surface is the external surface and this is the internal surface. Then it has got two borders. The upper border, which is also called the alveolar border, which has got sockets for the teeth, and the lower border, which is also called the base. Talking about the ramus of the mandible, it also has two surfaces. This surface is the lateral surface. This surface is the medial surface. It has got four borders: the upper border or the superior border, the anterior border, the posterior border, this is the posterior border, and the base. And it has got two processes: the posteriorly oriented condylar process and the anteriorly oriented coronoid process. Talking about the body now, first we will discuss the external surface. Now in the front, in the lower portion, you see a triangular bony protuberance. This is a triangular bony protuberance which is called the mental protuberance, and inferolateral to this mental protuberance you see two tubercles. So these are the two tubercles which you see inferolateral to the mental protuberance, and these are called the mental tubercles. Above the mental protuberance and below this incisor, you have a fossa here, and this is called the incisive fossa. It provides attachment to the mentalis muscle and few slips of the orbicularis oris. Now if you look at the teeth, you have the central incisor, then you have the lateral incisor, then you have the canine, then you have the first and second premolar, and then you have the first, second and third molar. So between the first and the second premolar, if you come lower, you see a foramen here. This is called the mental foramen, and the mental nerve and vessels will emerge out of it. Now below this mental foramen and lateral to the mental tubercle, you see an oblique line which is extending upwards and backwards, and it is becoming continuous with the anterior border of the ramus of the mandible. This is the oblique line. Anteriorly, this oblique line, where it is related to the first or the second premolar, it provides attachment to the depressor labii inferioris and the depressor anguli oris. And in the posterior part of this oblique line, where it is in relation with the first, second and third molars, it is providing attachment to the buccinator muscle. Now very interesting thing to note is that the buccinator, which is attached here to the posterior part of this oblique line, this buccinator, it extends its attachment to the upper border also. To this region also it will extend its attachment behind the third molar. So buccinator का attachment कैसे हुआ? Posterior part of this oblique line, and it has extended its attachment to the superior border or the alveolar border behind the third molar. Then the area of the external surface which is present below the posterior part of the oblique line is related to the tortuous facial artery, facial vein, and the marginal mandibular branch of the facial nerve. This region that I am talking about, this is the oblique line, and the area which is below this oblique line, this area, this is related to the tortuous facial artery, facial vein, and the marginal mandibular branch of the facial nerve. So this is all about the external surface of the body of mandible. Now we will discuss the internal surface. Now as the external surface has an oblique line, similarly the internal surface also has an oblique line, and that is called the mylohyoid line. This line in the internal surface, it extends from the symphysis mentae. It goes upwards and backwards up to the socket of the third molar teeth, and this is called the mylohyoid line, and this is related to the mylohyoid muscle. Above to this mylohyoid line, here there is a depression. This is called the sublingual fossa, which lodges the sublingual salivary gland, and below this mylohyoid line, this region, this is called the submandibular fossa, which lodges the superficial part of the submandibular salivary gland. The posterior-most part of the mylohyoid line, it provides attachment to the superior constrictor muscle. So this is the posterior part of the mylohyoid line, and this is providing attachment to the superior constrictor muscle. And again, interesting thing to note here, this attachment of the superior constrictor muscle, it also extends up to this upper border or the alveolar border behind this third molar tooth. तो buccinator का attachment भी आगे से आ रहा है, and it is extending up to this upper border of the body of the mandible in the alveolar border behind the third molar, और superior constrictor का attachment भी यहाँ से extend होके इसी जगह पे आ रहा है. So in this region, the fibers of the buccinator and the fibers of the superior constrictor, they will interlace with each other, and they will lead to the formation of pterygomandibular raphe. So pterygomandibular raphe is formed here. Now the area between the socket of the third molar, so this is the socket of the third molar, and this is the posterior part of the mylohyoid line. So the area between these two structures, this area that I am talking about, is actually related to the lingual nerve beneath the mucoperiosteum. Now the posterior part of the symphysis mentae, so here we had the symphysis mentae, and the posterior part of the symphysis mentae, this region, it has got 4 bony spines, 2 above and 2 below. The above ones are called as superior genial spines or the superior genial tubercles, and the lower ones are called as inferior genial spines or the inferior genial tubercles. The superior ones are providing attachment to the genioglossus muscle, and the inferior genial spines provide attachment to the geniohyoid muscle. So this is all about the inferior surface of the body of the mandible. Talking about the alveolar border, this is the upper border, and this has got sockets for the teeth, and they will lodge the corresponding teeth, forming the Comphosis variety of the fibrous joint. Coming to the lower border of the body of the mandible, this is also called as the base, and throughout its extent, it is providing attachment to the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia or the fascia coli. Now superficial to that attachment, there is attachment of the platysma muscle. Now I told you that this is the mylohyoid line, and below the mylohyoid line there is submandibular fossa which lodges the submandibular salivary gland, and this is the lower border of the body of mandible. So here investing layer of the deep cervical fascia is attached, and when this investing layer reaches the submandibular salivary gland, it splits into two and it will invest the submandibular salivary gland. Then anterior most part of the base, so this is the base or the lower border, and this is the anterior most part. So in the anterior most part you can see two fossas over here. These are called the digastric fossa, and they lodge the anterior belly of the digastric muscle. So this is all about the body of the mandible. We have discussed the external surface, we have discussed the internal surface, we have discussed the upper border and the lower border. Now this is all for this video. In the next part of the mandible, we will discuss about the ramus of the mandible and the two processes, condylar and the coronoid process. Thank you.